Most people are unhappy. I feel people give up easier today than they did when I was young. Your generation will give up.
Why do you think people are too afraid?
People are doing things they don't like. You're halfway through the work week and you're just getting over the hump of all the shit you don't want to do, of the misery of going to work and being someplace you don't want to be, to get to the weekend, not even to do anything spectacular, just to not do the you don't like.
In the moment when failure hits you, what's the attitude you have in those moments?
Anybody who's not doing whatever it is they want to be doing is just because they're not doing whatever it is they want to be doing. The difference between you and Elon Musk is he's doing what he's doing and you're doing what you're doing. Fear stops. Fear is a wall. And fear is good. If it scares you, it's good for you. If it hurts you, it's good for you. If fear stops you, that's on you. I think you need to...
In this video, I'll be interviewing Howie Mandel, a comedy legend, America's Got Talent judge, and someone who has spent decades in the spotlight while also quietly battling his own inner struggles. Today we talk about how a kid from Toronto became a household name, the real truth behind fame and failure, and what Howie has learned after watching thousands of AGT auditions about what actually makes somebody stand out. He opens up about mental health, love, marriage, and what he wishes every young person chasing success knew. I know that I say this a lot, but so far this has absolutely been my favorite interview film to date. It's funny, it's honest, and it's full of life-altering advice that I guarantee will make you rethink everything. How old are you?
I'm going to be 70 this year.
What does it feel like to be 70 this year?
I think I'm old. And also the fact that, you know that thing that they say time flies when you're having fun?
Yeah.
You don't have to have fun for time to fly. It just flies. It's flying. The only way that I'm really cognizant, and we'll talk about it, I put it in my journal, I distract myself. I don't like to think. So I like to distract.
I've asked a lot of people around your age what it feels like to be their age, and I'd say most of them don't act or feel the way that you are coming off.
Well, you don't judge a book by its cover. You know what it is? If you ask me to do things now that I used to do when I was younger, there are noises involved. You know what I mean? Like just getting up. Watch this. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
That's the difference of my age. When I was 26, there was no sound. I could stand up silently. Now I have to make a little... Yeah.
But you're still going like as hard as you've ever gone, and
harder.
And I would say most people around your age are declining. What have you done in your life to get to this point and still feel and act the way that you are?
It's not what I've done, it's who I am and what I've observed. Curiosity is what drives me, you know, and I think that most people, when we're really young, we're really curious. When we're really young, we want to listen to every piece of music and see what everybody's listening to. You want to open up or see something online and see how everybody's dressing and see what they're wearing. And you want to emulate that. You want to copy that. You want to know what the latest and the greatest and what's Taylor Swift doing and what. And then you reach an age where that could be somewhat tiring and you go, I don't care, you know? What I ended up finding out, and this is how I found it out, my son, who built this whole place, he started showing me YouTube videos, and I saw this one video, like almost 100 million clicks on it. When you read the comments, it went, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. This is so funny. This is pure comedy. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
And that scared the shit out of me because I said, how does 100 million people think this is I think I know what funny is. Funny bought the house that you grew up in. Funny bought my pants. How do I not know? And at the time when I got into comedy, even if I didn't like what somebody else was doing or didn't laugh at it or it wasn't my sensibility, I understand why it's funny. I understand why Carrot Top is brilliant, and I understand why Bill Maher is brilliant. And there's two ends of the spectrum of comedy, and they're both incredibly successful. So how do I not understand that? And then it dawned on me that culture is continually changing. You know, the Beatles were probably the biggest thing of my era. I would imagine if any of those songs came out today, they wouldn't be hits. They would never be hits. So I became obsessed, like I am with everything that I do, with keeping up with culture to a detriment, because I'm up all night online. I know, you know, I'm always afraid that I'm going to miss out on something. But music isn't like it was when I was your age.
Yeah.
Fashion isn't like it was when I was your age. It is so different in one fell swoop. Our world is so different. So you can either, and there's nothing wrong with this, relax and sit back and be like the average person and just enjoy your life and be content. I happen to be obsessed with just wanting to know about the world that I'm living in. And it's not about being successful in that. It's just about, it scares the hell out of me of possibly having the inability to communicate, to engage, and to understand what's going on around me.
For those that are feeling not as good at that point in life, like at your point, do you think that the lack of curiosity plays a role in why
I think curiosity is a natural. I've always been, you know, I was probably the kind of baby that if you said don't touch that, and I wanted to it makes me want to touch it more.
The big red button.
Yes. So the point is, I don't think there's anything wrong with anybody who doesn't want it. I was going to say, because I am, but I'm going to say I don't judge, but I do. But I really don't have any, I don't think the way I am is better than anybody else's. I think, and I don't know what the basis of this podcast is, but the word success or succeeding, what do you think success is?
Well, I think everyone has their own version of it.
That's the point.
There isn't a status quo definition.
So the problem is, what I find with people is they'll watch something like this and say, I want to be like that, or I want to do that, or I want to achieve that. That's a problem. That's the problem. The problem is that you've got to float your own boat. Success is contentment. Success is the ability to wake up each and every day and look forward to what you're going to do and enjoy what you're going to do. And I look forward to I'm enjoying this right now. This is success. What I'm saying is I don't think about what something will get me. I'm not goal-oriented at all. No goals. Goal for me personally, and not for you or you, for me, a goal is the clarification that you're not there, which to me is negative. You know, if you set a goal for yourself, I want that, then you're really clear on you're here and you're not that. Whereas if you just enjoy what you're doing, you will be surprised by where you get. And I think life is short and you need moments of contentment when you're not thinking about what you don't have, when you're not thinking about what you don't want, when you're not thinking about what some other person you're seeing or hearing has and you're saying, I want that.
Yeah.
I think you need to, you know, my grandmother used to always tell me, if you're not healthy, you're not wealthy. You know, success is just getting up and in the moment, not being aware of a pain, not being aware of what you have, and that's, this moment that you're watching right now is success.
For someone to understand who they're looking at today, the version of you today, what do we need to know about your childhood and how you grew up?
You know, I grew up in a middle class Canadian house, spent most of my life sharing a room with my brother. In my era, there wasn't an awareness, if I don't know that that's the right word, of mental health.
Yeah.
So I've always struggled. And struggled hard, but assumed that's life. That's what my life was. Didn't realize and didn't get diagnosed until my late 40s. But it was tough for me. I didn't grow up in a tough world. I was loved. I was supported. It was just really hard for me. You know, being in a room with somebody is hard for me. Just being in high school, I was 89 pounds and I was 4'10", so I wasn't, a ladies' man. And so
not like the guy we see today.
Hello. But so I couldn't get a girlfriend. I couldn't get a friend because of what I was later on diagnosed, because I have severe ADHD. And I don't think of ramifications, which actually works for me, but I don't think of ramifications. So I was very impulsive and did things which in the moment I entertained myself, but made me a pariah amongst others. You know, I did things that other kids wouldn't do, dressed the way other kids didn't dress, looked the way other kids didn't look. And
Did people make fun of you for that?
I got made fun of a lot. You know, I have a little card in the front that I kind of look at. I found it. I didn't make this up, but somebody said, you know, they laughed at me because I was different. And now I laugh at them because they're all the same. You know, and the truth is that I've learned in my maturity to embrace originality and being different and being unique. Uniqueness is a gift. And every one of us has that gift. No two people are alike, not even identical twins. And we spend, I don't know why, but part of the culture is to be like what you see instead of celebrating who you are.
Yeah. Were you close with your parents growing up?
Very close with my parents. My father passed away in '89, and I wanted to leave comedy because I just loved entertaining him more than anybody else. He came to every show. And my mother is now in late stage dementia, so she doesn't know who I am, and that's devastating. But up until she did know who I was, I never missed a day of talking to her until she didn't know who was calling.
Yeah,
which can be kind of it's devastating, and also there's some. I find humor, the darker it gets, the more I find humor. That's why it's called a sense of humor. Is for me, that's humor has been my tool,
yeah,
and it should be a tool. That's why they say laughter is the best medicine. There's nothing that's too soon. There's nothing off limits. There's no. That's why it got hard for me a couple of years ago when the pendulum swung and cancel culture came in. This comedy was my savior. I didn't set out to do this. And the fact that it was a dare, and I didn't think this, I would not, on paper, this is not a career for a young middle-class kid from Toronto. I went to Yuck Yucks and to watch a show, and they said, would anybody like to get up? And somebody said, you should go up. And I went, okay, because I say okay to everything. And that's another philosophy I have, because I'm afraid of missing out. But people say no.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
And they think too much. No is N-O, which is the first two letters of the word nothing. Nothing comes from no. Yes. Worst case scenario is that you have a bad experience and you have a lesson, you have an education on not to do that again. I say yes to everything.
If you're watching this video and you're enjoying the advice that you hear, but you also want to do something about it because you do not want to reach 80 years old with a bunch of what ifs, I recommend that you grab a copy of our Daily Improvement Journal. This is the one that you see a lot of our guests actually filling in themselves. The point of this journal is to help you figure out, using data that you collect every day from your daily life, what makes a great day and what makes a bad day. This is a journal I've been making for the last 10 years. It has been refined over time as we speak to everybody that you see on our channel. Think about it as 1,000 interviews in one journal, the best pieces of advice in one 10-minute-a-day formula that actually works. And why I say that is because thousands of people have used it, but I've been using it for over 10 years. So if you're someone who wants to make sure there are no what ifs in a couple of decades, I recommend you grab a copy. Click the link in the description. We made a limited batch, and this is where you can get them.
Why do you think people are too afraid to say yes to most things?
Because they think. I don't think thinking is good. I think humans have really good instincts. Mm-hmm. And if instinctually we kind of know what we want to do and what we should do or what we'd like to do, and we should do it. If somebody comes to you with an idea, like if somebody came to me and said, Howie, why don't you go on stage at Yuck Yucks in Toronto and go up a couple of nights and then move to LA and marry your high school sweetheart, and you'll raise your children. Maybe you can try comedy. Now, think about that. What are the chances? I have no connections. There's no reason to do that. I had a good job. I was already making money. I could support my family. So when you think about it, there's always a million reasons not to do something. You can, even if there aren't, you can make some up of not to do something. But if in the moment you think, I want to do this, even if it has nothing to do with a career, just in your life, just do it. Because I'm telling you, it's somebody at this side of life, at 70 years old, too many people my age say shoulda, coulda, woulda. And shoulda, coulda, woulda is the worst fuel, is the worst thing to stand on. I'd rather tell you stories about things I did that failed. Failure is a great stepping stone to in life, and failures have much better stories. Failures have much better education. Failures can find, for me, because I like darkness, are funnier. They're funnier. I can find more humor in failure than something that worked out really good. It's just life. And I think thinking, I haven't thought about this too much, but I think thinking is a problem.
What do you think that?
And he follows up with a thinking question.
All thinking. This is just thinking, and then you can go back to.
So
this is just the daily thinking hour. But for all the people like you who had the good job, had the comfortable life, they had certainty in their life, and let's say chose to go down the uncertain path. Not many of them ended up getting to where they wanted to be and getting to the level of success that you have. What do you think that you did differently if you're thinking back and analyzing maybe your decision making, your everything that you did, your attitude?
Most people are unhappy. Most of our culture is unhappy, and we thrive in unhappiness. I have talked about this many times, but if nobody listens to radio anymore, but in radio, maybe you know this term. Do you know hump day?
Yeah.
They go, what's hump day?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Why? Why? What's the connotation of that?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
No.
So it was halfway through the connotation. It became part of the vernacular. Hump day is Wednesday because you're halfway through the work week and you're just getting over the hump of all the shit you don't want to do, of the misery of going to work and being someplace you don't want to be, to get to the weekend, not even to do anything spectacular, just to not do the shit you don't like. So most people are doing things they don't like. Our connotation is not doing, and they're staying in their job because you got to pay the rent. They're staying in their job because you got to feed the kids. I get that. I get responsibility. And I don't know that they're not getting to where they want to be. They're getting to where they saw somebody else is, and they think that would be cool to be there. Yeah. But I think life is too short, and maybe it's because of, I've been very open about OCD. OCD, I have obsessive compulsive disorder. And obsessive compulsive disorder I get uncontrolled negative thoughts always, and fears, which I try to control. And my best way is distraction and staying busy. But I have a fear of whatever I have a fear of. It's like a doomsday fear that it can end like that, which it can. You don't know if a bus is going to steer off the road and crash into your building. And I mean, I'm not being negative, but anything can happen in a second. The only thing you have control of, boom, now, this second. I don't have control of what happened already because it's just my perception. I don't have control of what's going to happen in the next second. So why not just worry about making this second, this boom, the best you can make it? And that's, if you could live in the now, and that's part of the therapy that I go through, but I think it's good for everybody. If you could just live in the now, instead of looking forward or being or chasing or doing, if you do enough nows, you get, if you just feel like you want to put your right foot forward, you put your right foot forward. Just put your right foot forward. And then if you feel like putting your left foot forward, put your left foot forward. Just because you feel like putting your left foot forward. And then, you know what? I feel like putting my right foot forward again. And then I feel, for whatever reason, you're going to end up over there. Not because I wanted to be over there, but because I did that. But that's life. Because I showed up on a dare and did stand-up, I thought it would be a joke for somebody to say, ladies and gentlemen, Howie Mandel. And then it would be, I didn't think it would work out well. I just happened to put my hands in my pocket. I had nothing to do. I carry rubber gloves because I have OCD and I didn't want to go into a public restroom. I pulled it over my head because I was terrified. I started breathing with it. The glove popped off. Everybody applauded. Mark Breslin, who owns the club, said, come back tomorrow and do it. I went, okay. And then I had a club to go to. I didn't, and now here I am almost 50 years later, sitting, I don't know how you describe where we're sitting, but it's just this evolution of things I see on the internet, people I like, people who entertain me, and then it happens to be at sometimes, financially okay, but even if it wasn't, it doesn't matter. You know, I say I would be a happy guy if I was a server and once a week I can, tonight I'm going to drop in, not for money. I drop in at the comedy clubs every night when I'm not working. Tonight I'm going to comedy clubs. That's how I write, and I don't know what I'm going to say, and that makes it more fun.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting paid to do a concert in a theater. That makes it more fun. I just do what I do.
Yeah. I guess the theme that I'm understanding is, number one, you have a lot of trust in yourself and a lot of faith in your ability.
No trust.
Well, you have
no faith.
You must.
That's thinking. That's thinking. If you have trust and faith, then you think. I tell you.
What if things didn't work out though?
They don't. In every given day, in any given day, I have more failures than hits. I'll DM somebody to be on my podcast and they'll say no. I will, I have an idea for a show or something I want to do on America's Got Talent, and I call the bosses there and they say no. I have something I want to try. I want to go get a reservation at a restaurant because I heard it opened up. They said it's full tonight and I can't get in. I can't tell you how many failures I have in a day. And I promise you, I have more failures per day, little ones, bigger ones, medical ones, than I have wins in my life. The difference between the ability to keep moving forward, if we're going to talk about a direction, is just not giving up and not being discouraged. When I started comedy, there were so many people at the Comedy Store when I came down here to LA that were so much funnier than I am. So much of a better writer and creator of comedy. But because you just get punched down, and life does that. Because you get punched down, they give up and they stop. Anybody who's not doing whatever it is they want to be doing is just because they're not doing whatever it is they want to be doing.
Yeah.
Anybody, the difference between you and Elon Musk is he's doing what he's doing and you're doing what you're doing.
Right.
If you want to get to that point, there's no magic, there's no superheroes. We're all unique. We all have the capability.
Yeah.
We really do.
So when I was interviewing at Just for Laughs 2 years ago, some of the comedians, I asked them all the same question. What has gotten you guys to be performing at Just for Laughs, one of the biggest comedy festivals in the world, versus the person who's going door to door, club to club, living under a bridge, trying to make it? And they all answered with the same answer, which was that we are literally the same. It's just that all those other guys gave up and we kept going.
And that goes for life. It doesn't matter what you're doing. But the key to it is you gotta do not what you think you're supposed to do, not what you think you have to do. You gotta do what you want to do. You really have to find, even if that's just a moment in the day. I love doing stand-up. Out of all the things I do, my favorite thing is stand-up. So if I had to put food on the table by being a custodian, a server, the fact that I could drop in on the club tonight and do 15 minutes, that's enough. That 15 minutes, that little bit of light, which was just a little bit of light, whether I'm doing, ended up affording me this, but I can't tell you how many times I've been humiliated, how many times I've been booed off the stage, how many times it still, to this day, doesn't work.
Yeah.
What's
the attitude you have in those moments? In the moment when failure hits you? I know it's been a lot, so maybe
I'll tell you, my analogy is this. I still love roller coasters. I love thrill rides. And if you love thrill rides, maybe you'll understand. Do you like roller coasters?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, but if you do...
Like thrills, but not roller coasters.
Why?
The sinking feeling in my stomach drives me crazy.
The scarier it is, the higher it is, the closer to death it feels.
Sweating.
The more my stomach is churned, the more alive I feel. Then I go, oh my God, my adrenaline is going. I want to go again. If they made a roller coaster that was on a track where there was just a breeze blowing through your hair and you just went for about 15 minutes through some trees and you saw some butterflies and then you got off and somebody said, do you want to ride again? It was nice, but I don't want to. I love the thrill and the excitement. Fear makes me feel alive, nervousness, awkwardness, discomfort, and breaking through that. It's kind of like people who like to work out. If you like to work out, you don't want to just, what are you doing? You're just lying in a gym and you want the air conditioning on. You don't want to lift anything too heavy. You don't want to, if you could break through something that hurts, no pain, no gain, that doesn't just go for working out, that's life. And if you feel the burn the next day from what you did, you feel like you've accomplished something, you feel like you've done something. If 9 people say no to me, then, I'm just going to keep going. And I got this weird little playhouse that I've put together here where I can come here and just go, I promise you, I've done already 3 things before I got here that I was on the phone for. All of them have failed. I just like to keep trying. And if it's scary and doesn't feel comfortable, then that's the thing to do. Comfort is boring. And life goes like that. Thrill yourself a little bit. And maybe because now even more, I'm medicated. The fact that I'm medicated to maintain my mental health, I live at very medically induced middle ground so that I don't fall into depression and my anxiety that I have. So I fight to try to, I went and had a procedure recently and they put me under. Have you ever been put under? Propofol?
I haven't.
Okay.
No.
Well, I don't wish it on you, but even when I have propofol and they're putting you out because you're going to have a procedure, I try to fight it and see how long I can stay awake. I want to beat that. I love challenging every minute.
When you think back to your mom and your dad, all of this advice they must have given to you, or all the things they must have said?
None. Advice doesn't do anything. I learn by example. So they were always trying things. They always saw the bright side of things. They always had a sense of humor in my house. I don't think anybody really has learned anything from anything that anybody has told them. I think they learn by example. That example doesn't have to be their parent. That example could be a friend. That example could be a caregiver. That example could be a teacher. That example could be a mentor, but examples. We see, so we do. We hear, and we forget.
Yeah. So AGT, one of my favorite shows.
My favorite show.
When you think about AGT, though, these are thousands of acts you've seen, longest tenured judge on AGT.
Yeah.
When you think about people who just step on the stage right away, do you have instant understanding of when they're going to do well or not?
I'll tell you, that's exactly what I love about AGT. AGT is the template for life. It really is. I'm not making it any bigger than I believe it is. I think 90%, 99, this is not I'm quoting somebody, but I don't know who I'm quoting. 99% of success is showing up. Really, the difference between somebody succeeding and not succeeding is they showed up. Every time, and we don't know, Simon says it all the time, we don't know what's coming out next.
Yeah.
But these people walking out on that stage, first of all, I've been on that stage, so I know I want that terror, I want that thrill ride. A lot of them have never been on anything of that size, of that importance. Not only that, we kind of open up we want to know who they are. Everybody in life, you don't go through life without a hurdle, without trauma, without failure. And everybody has a story, whether their story was they could never afford to get here to do it. They've gone through an illness. Music is the only thing that got them through a really hard time. They have, there's always a story, like every human being. And they've, up until now, this moment, and the fact that we could sit there and watch somebody's moment, somebody's hope, somebody's dream, somebody's goal, either come to fruition in that moment or at least get another step toward it. I always tell everybody who I bump into in the streets, they go, one day I want to go on AGT. I go, one day? Why aren't you sending a tape in now? If that's what you want to do, why aren't you just go for it? Everybody wants to procrastinate. They're thinking.
Yeah.
But even if you fail on that stage, you've gotten that kind of exposure.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's a failure, even if it didn't go well. There's always going to be a consensus. There's millions of people. We get 1 billion clicks a year. I would imagine there's hundreds of thousands of people that watch even what you might consider the worst act you've ever seen and love it. So you've just created an audience for yourself umpteen times you can do by not showing up.
You said how are they comparable? As a judge, how do you define what a yes is, especially when there's so many different acts?
The way I do, and I think everybody on the panel, we're all friends, and I have the utmost respect for everybody on our show. We have very different tastes. We come from very different walks of life. We can only tell you how whatever you did made us feel. I could tell you that if it's a comedian, you made me laugh. You made me, I related to what you're doing. Or when I was on the edge of my seat for what you did. It was like, I was screaming. That's amazing. I want to see more of that. And then ultimately America is going to vote for who they want to win. That's what I do. And then sometimes I hope, even if I'm not bowled over by something you do or the act does, then I hope that I can be positively, my critiques are, hopefully they can take, that's my intent. Even though sometimes I get killed for being negative, I'm not negative. I'm negative in the sense that I didn't love what they did and maybe the audience loved. So when I say I saw you dance and I didn't see anything that I haven't seen at, 15-year-olds see at the dance recitals I go to, I'm being honest. Show me something, do something.
Yeah. And
then that's sometimes taken negatively, but that's how I approach it.
Personally, I find you give really good feedback.
I know. I think I'm really good.
I think it's actually helpful. Even if it's negative, there is part of it that you say that's constructive.
That's my intent. That was the hardest part for me to become a judge on AGT. Up until then, everything I've done was to garner audience adulation. When I joined AGT at that time, we were traveling the show. We would go on Tonight's from Dallas. So anybody on that stage was like a hometown kid. That was their hometown person. So if you go, well, I didn't love it, they would boo. And that was so hard to go, am I doing something wrong where all these people behind me? But then I got comfortable with the discomfort of just being authentically me. And you may not like me. More people don't like me. And that goes for everybody.
How do you give good feedback, in your opinion?
I don't. I give my feedback.
Well, but for anybody, like let's say all circumstances in life, what would, in your opinion, be the appropriate way to
Honesty is my policy. I don't think there's any feedback.
But you say it.
Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm a married guy for 45 years. Sometimes you got to say, that looks great.
But you say it respectfully still.
I think respect is key in everything we do in life. If there's one thing that I want my children and their children to be, is respectful. I think that the internet online has actually created an arena to be disrespectful. Respect is the most important thing for everyone and everything. And that's my, if I have a law, it's respect.
What do you say to someone watching this? Let's say it's not
Is someone watching this?
They might, hopefully. That would be helpful. But let's say someone's watching this and they, in their life, whether it's being on AGT or just anything, are afraid to go for it.
Fear is the enemy. No fear. No, that you shouldn't fear. You got to get over your fear. I live in fear. That's what OCD is. I'm medicated to get rid of the fear. If you're afraid of it, it's probably good for you. Yeah. If it hurts you, it's probably good for you. There's the reason to not do something should never be because of fear. It should be, if you're not going to do something, then it's just not a good thing to do.
Right.
Fear stops. Fear is a wall. And fear is good. If it scares you, it's good for you. If it hurts you, it's good for you. If fear stops you, you're just not doing it, and that's on you. You have to figure out how to face your fear, how to get over fear. Fear is our enemy. Fear is the enemy of everyone.
Mm-hmm. So you said you've been married 45 years?
Yeah. Are you married?
No.
Do you have a girlfriend?
I do.
Are you engaged?
I'm not.
Why? You fear it?
No, but I don't want her to see this.
Why? You
I'll
afraid?
wanna focus
Because
on
you're
you.
afraid?
Well, I want to focus
Here
on
we
you.
go. So you're not moving forward. You can be,
Everything.
grab it,
Everything's
buddy.
got its time.
Hang on. No, it doesn't. You grab it. No fear. You have a great relationship. You have a great partner. You have somebody who's going to be there for you and just push you along even further. No fear, buddy, in anything. The reason not to get married now is it shouldn't be fear. The reason maybe not to get married now is maybe financial reasons or other reasons or whatever, but not fear.
Yeah, no, it's not a fear thing. It's more of just getting your
But
life
you're
together.
afraid of what she might say when she saw this. Don't fear.
What do you think is I mean, you guys have been together 45 years. Most marriages, most relationships, they do not last that
Right.
long. Especially, I'd say when you were initially married, you weren't at the level of notoriety that you
No
that you have
notoriety.
been.
I was known as the idiot from Northview Heights.
So
Secondary school.
Even there's a lot of people where they get married, they're not famous, things happen, and then they don't end up together. What has been the secret for you guys?
Oh, she'll tell you that I'm not there. I toured. I'm busy. She's not here. It's true. The fact that I'm not around her makes her love me more. The fact, I'm being honest with you.
I know. Yeah.
If we spend too much time together, she doesn't. She deserves a medal. I'm the luckiest guy in the world to have this woman. Every decision that I needed help making, she's made any important decision in our life. She has raised 3 incredible children. I spent a lot of time not there. I regret that because I was doing, up until COVID, maybe 200, 250 live dates a year. So I wasn't around, but that's what makes it, I've been married for 47 years. We've been together 3, I spend a lot of time on the set, a lot of time working. You don't see her here today.
Yeah.
I think that's what works for me.
Yeah.
So,
What is it about her for you at the time that made you feel like she was the one, but also throughout these past 40 plus years?
her sense of humor, she's incredibly funny. And that's what first drew me to her. And I like funny. I speak funny. I listen to funny. I like funny. Funny is the opposite of how my mind goes, My mind is dark, so I need funny. Funny is what helps me tread life, like treading water. I hold on to funny and laughter to keep me alive and above the water.
What do you think? Where do you think people go wrong, couples specifically, and why things? I know there's
Giving
a million
up.
reasons. But
The same thing as business, the same thing as life, giving up. Nothing's easy. Relationships aren't easy. Business isn't easy. Nothing's easy. We're in a, I feel people give up easier today than they did when I was young. Your generation will give up if it doesn't work or if it's too hard or if it seems, they get humiliated. They're over it. They don't need it. They don't, I think relationship is worth working on, more importantly than anything else I do. My relationship has given me my life. My legacy is my children and their children. So I couldn't have gotten that without a great partner.
yeah, can you define the word love for me?
No, I can't, because it's the all-encompassing need to envelop whatever it is or whoever it is or whoever they are, because it expands. I have children and grandchildren, and it's whatever that is, there is nothing that I wouldn't do to hang on to that. I'd give that everything, including my own life, for what it is I love and who it is I love.
You talk about regret a little earlier. Is that the regret of not being around as much? Is that something that sticks with you?
It doesn't stick with me, but when you bring it up, I think about it for a second, and then I'll distract myself with trying to be funny.
Right.
Yeah, I feel bad. But maybe it's better. They're better people because I wasn't there. My kids.
Yeah.
They're better that my wife got to raise them and not me. No,
The way to think about it, at least.
it's positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? This is a tough question, but if you had to break it down into your own little recipe of what do you think makes a great life?
Live it. Don't think about what you want out of it. Don't worry about what you didn't get from it. Live it in the moment. Just do it. And then there's no regrets. Live this moment. I don't regret this moment. I don't regret doing this. I'm just having a nice time now. And I'm not thinking about what somebody else has that I don't have. I'm not thinking about what I missed out on before. I'm just living this moment. And then, somebody could drop a bus on me, but live it. Live it. Don't try to achievement is a bad word. Don't achieve, just do. Just do, just be. Now is the word.
Yeah.
I think you're going to go over the journal?
Yeah. Did you want to mention it?
Well, I've never journaled before, but they were interesting questions.
Tell me about it.
You can go through it. Okay. So the first question is, what's on my mind today? And I answered,
Nothing.
nothing. That's the truth. Nothing. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just open. And what I want to do is life comes at you and you should react in the moment. I will react. There was nothing on my mind. I didn't prepare knowing I'm coming in and talking to you. I didn't think about what I was going to talk about. I just, when I was getting here, my mind was on driving. My mind was on the road. When I sat down, my mind is on whatever question you ask me. You told me to write a journal. I didn't have anything. I have nothing on my mind. Nothing. I try to clear. I live. Every second should be a clean slate that I could draw upon.
The highlight of your day yesterday was?
Yesterday, my kids. I hung with my grandkids, and that's I can give up everything to spend time with my grandkids.
What is the one piece of life advice that you have for today? If you can share it and elaborate.
I think I've said it. Just say yes.
Yeah.
Just say yes. There's a million reasons to say no, and think about it. Right. And today's schedule.
You have no idea.
I don't know. And that's the thing. Rich, you met here. I don't know. And I don't want my schedule. I just want to know what you're going to, in my practice of trying to live in the now, just tell me what's next. Just tell me what I'm going to do in the next hour. Tell me what I don't want to know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Yeah. I don't even talk about it with me. I don't know what dates we're taping AGT. I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want to go, I'm not prepared for that. I know what I'm going to do. There. And then you had to rate my life on a 10. You had me rate my own life. Career. It's a 10. A lot of people do better than me. A lot of people are more well-known than me. A lot of people make tons more money than I make. But I love every minute of this. I love even doing this. I love AGT. I love it. Relationships, mine are a 10. I have the best wife, the best kids, the best grandkids. Self-love, I gave that a 4. I don't think about, I don't have a lot of self-esteem, but I'm medicated, so it's okay. So I handle that. Mental health is also a 4. It's a mess.
Right.
I'm a mess, but I deal with it. We're all we all have our messes. I deal with it. My health is a 7. I'm 70. It's not a 10. And my ambition is a 10. And that's I have ambition in every moment to make this moment, I just want it to be the best moment that I could possibly make it. And then what can I do today and this week to improve on these ratings? And it's always distract. And that's what I do. My whole life is a distraction. I just like to be busy, I don't like quiet. I like to be busy. I will get up from this interview and go in there and do something, and then go over there and do something, and then go talk to these guys and do something. I just will distract. AGT, Tuesday nights on NBC.
Thank you so much, Howie.
Thank you, buddy.
That was awesome.